welcome to the news. So, what's been happening? Don't you hate it when you confuse a light for a microphone? Over in America, what the hell was this sports commentator watching?
He's standing in front of the net with about 8 inches of his shaft in his hand.
I'll tell you what, Dominic really knows how to make a woman feel good.
I have to confess something now. I had 1.5 jam donuts today, this morning.
Did
I
you?
did, yeah.
I thought you were looking a bit...
I've got...
And finally, if you photobomb someone on the news, this is how you do it.
As a receiver, we just work on, running routes and giving our legs and preparation for we do some agility drills, we do some sled work, some band work, just trying to be safe, working out, we do, the weight bench.
Did you hear about the latest surveillance crackdown by the government?
The internet browsing history of every person in the UK will be recorded for a year under controversial new legislation being announced by the Home Secretary later today.
The government are checking our internet history? Did you hear that? That is the sound of my brother smashing his laptop with a hammer. Ah! Burn it, Ross! Burn it! Oh, laptop! Honestly, there's so much filth on his computer, every time it opens it up, it shudders. What I want to know, what are the government hoping to learn? Imagine being interrogated for your internet history. Mr. Howard, why have you looked at this picture 400 times this year? I just like it. It looks like he's going, ooh. They're not going to discover anything sinister, are they? What they're going to discover is that British people are lunatics. These are all genuine questions that people have Googled. Does it hurt hedgehogs if they have sex doggy style? What do I do if a ginger kid bites me? And my personal favourite was the T-Rex angry because he couldn't reach his penis. It's not just websites. Look what else they're checking.
If I send a text message, police and security services can see what time I sent that message, where I was, and that I sent it to you.
They check your phone. Imagine that job, some poor spy checking teenage girls' texts. What news, Fleming? Well, Teresa don't like her ears. She'd be like, they totes fugly. And Nicky'd be like, sister, please, your ears is well paying. And Teresa'd be like, you just saying that. Mind you, some of the texts would be fun to read. You were so drunk last night. No, I wasn't. Mate, you ran up to a huge bloke with a beard and went, Hagrid, you're real. So, why are the government spying on us? Well, apparently, the surveillance bill is vital in the fight against terrorists. Let's be honest, the government aren't going to find terrorists. The only thing they're going to learn is that British people mostly use the internet to watch videos like this.
Oh, not again. Oh, Ted. Oh.
From worrying surveillance to whining Brits.
The Russian plane which crashed in Egypt may well have been brought down by a bomb. All British flights from Sharm el-Sheikh are now being suspended until a team of UK experts can assess security arrangements at that airport.
Nothing's organised, nothing's structured.
But let us know when we're going!
When are we going?
Idiot. Why am I still here?
Because there was a bomb on a plane! What is wrong with people? Bloody Egyptians looking after me, making sure I don't blow up in the sky. It's pathetic. Did you see the way Russians reacted? Bit more stoic.
So you're not worried about terrorism?
No, I think that if we will down, nothing can help us.
If we die, we die. The footage that really got me was this woman screaming at the British ambassador.
We've been told the planes can't land. We've been told the Egyptian government are arguing with David Cameron and he's not letting any planes land. So what's the problem? You're stuttering now.
He's not stuttering. You just won't let him speak. What I don't understand, don't get angry at the government when they're trying to protect you. Get angry at the government because of people like MP Philip Davies. Here is a picture of him earlier this year. I pledge to speak up for carers in Parliament. Good guy. No, here is what he did last week. He's blocked a proposed law to introduce free hospital parking for carers by speaking in the House of Commons for 93 minutes in order to use up the time allocated for the debate. What an arsehole. Carers have to pay to park at hospitals. They wanted a debate to end this bullshit, and that wanker spoke for 93 minutes. Well, I think we can change that photo, don't you? I am a toad-faced hypocrite. You can disagree with it, that's fine. You can disagree with that, that's fine. You have to let them debate it. That is your job. I can't wait for him to rock up to a hospital. Imagine that. Help! I'm having a heart attack. Oh, really? We'll see you in 93 minutes. Could he be more of a dick? Yes, he can. Here's a list of the things he's spoken out against. He voted against equal marriage. Dick. He objected to banning smoking in cars with kids. Dick. He blocked attempts to get mandatory smoke detectors in buildings. He's such a dick, he doesn't have a dick. He's just got a tiny version of himself that just goes... for 93 minutes. Elsewhere this week now, you know Christmas is around the corner when this is all over the telly.
The John Lewis Christmas advert premieres this evening. It's become a staple of the seasonal TV schedules, and once again, it's utterly shameless in pulling at our heartstrings.
You're half the world away. You're half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel down. You're half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel down.
He's using a telescope to peer into a kid's bedroom. That is... That's not heartwarming, that is grooming, that's what that is. And now she's giving him a telescope. First the government are spying us, and now we've got to worry about moonjizz.com. Yeah, moonjizz.com. It's ridiculous. What message do kids take from that? It's OK to give an old man binoculars. It's not. God knows what'll happen.
You're half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel down. You're half the world away.
Next up, it's been a tough week for 7-year-olds.
For what is already known as the most tested generation, life could be about to get even tougher. The Education Secretary, Nicky Morgan, has revealed plans to introduce more rigorous testing for children across England, starting at the age of 7.
Poor kids. They interviewed them about exams. Look at the effect it's had on this little fella.
It's, like, really serious. Like, it's not... Life isn't a joke.
How heartbreaking is that?
Life isn't a joke.
That's exactly what life should be when you're 7. You should be having fun, riding your bike, jumping in puddles, feeding your dog glitter so it shits magic. When I was 7, my mate Paul farted in school assembly and went, "Pardon my ass?" And I genuinely don't think I've ever laughed so much in my life. You don't need exams when you're 7. When you think about it, all you need to know who smelt it, dealt it, who denied it, supplied it, and who rhymed it, crimed it. If you're very advanced, milk, lemonade, round the corner, chocolate's made. But that's only for very advanced people. Now, mind you, one thing I did love about this story was this. All test scores will be sent to the government. How great is that? I love the idea that Cameron will be reading stuff like this. Bobby has 4 dimes. Amy has 30 pennies. Which child has more money? Bobby! This is the best bit. Show your thinking. Look what the kid did. I love it. It's the most wonderful thing. It could be worse, though, right? You could go to school in Hong Kong. This is nuts. Look what kids over there have to put up with.
Getting into a good school can be stressful for both children and parents. It's seen as so important in Hong Kong that children like Carlson Chun here are training for their interview despite only being 2.5 years old.
2-year-olds having interviews. What do you think you can bring to the school? Sandwiches? Babies aren't ready for exams. They can buckle under the simplest of questions.
Say baby. Baby. Say mama. Mama. Say dada. Dada. Say robot.
It's not just changes in exams. Did you hear about the plans for school photos?
A school photographer in West Sussex has outraged parents by offering to airbrush their children's pictures.
Airbrush school photos? I would have loved that in my day. Look at this. Amazing. Don't applaud. I look like Harry Potter's German pen pal. Do you know, that photo is all over the internet. It's even been turned into a meme, right? I didn't write this joke. Look what they've done. These glasses got me a lot of ladies. Dinner ladies. Oh, yeah, funny. So, exams, photos, anything else? Yep. Have you heard about the government's genius idea to combat child obesity? Underused firefighters should tackle child obesity because the number of fires has dropped. What? How's that going to work? Next up, terrifying news for cat owners.
Now, when they're curled up on your lap, they look very cute and cuddly, but a recent report has suggested that your cat could actually be plotting to kill you.
Did you hear that? Apparently your cat is plotting to kill you. I love the word plotting, like they're drawing ways to kill you in their litter tray. What are you doing? Nothing? Nothing? Just planning to kill you, isn't it?
No, go over there, go over there.
It'll be the last thing you're going to do. Did you... I love this so much. Did you see how scientists describe them? Research published in a psychology journal calls them neurotic and unstable. Of course they're unstable. Any animal that thinks a mouse's head is a present is clearly a psycho.
You love it, don't you? Try it on, try it on.
Of course they're unstable. They sit in front of you and lick their arse.
Hi. How's things? If you fall asleep, I'm gonna kill you.
But some people won't have it. Did you see this lady try and defend them?
Cats are very empathetic, I find. If you're going through something stressful, maybe a driving test, or something's going on in your life, you'll find the cat actually spends more time with you.
What a load of shit!
Sorry, guys, I would love to stay and rip a squirrel up, but my owner's doing a driving test.
Just rubbing her feet.
Let's go for it one more time. Mirror, signal, manoeuvre. You're stressed, aren't you? Do you want to see me lick my arse again? Just for you. Nom, nom, nom.
Cats are trying to kill you. Listen, if they do attack, they are pretty easy to stop. Cat plus ice cream equals brain freeze. My guest tonight is probably one of the most famous astronauts in the world. He's made science exciting to an entire generation, and more than 27 million people have seen him in space singing David Bowie.
This is Major Tom to ground control.
control. I've left forevermore, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing left to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Hadfield. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'll say this now, you have got a firm handshake.
Thank you.
It was good. So the first question, obviously, what's it like to be in space?
Number one, it's like magic because you're weightless.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a superpower. You know, it is something that you've never experienced in your whole life, and the second the engines shut off, instantaneously, you are now
shitting yourself.
You are now weightless. It's like someone just tapped you on the head and said, "You can fly," and so that's delightful. And then at the same time, the whole world is pouring by. You go around the whole world every hour and a half, so 16 times around the planet every day. So you're weightless, and every time you look at the window, another whole part of the world's going by. It's an intoxicating place to be.
And I read some interesting things. What do you do to prepare before you go on? Because I heard some fascinating things.
Well, the Russian spaceship is relatively simple.
Yep.
And the WC on it is really primitive. You know, it's almost nothing. And so just before launch, just before you put on your spacesuit, you give yourself not one, but 2 enemas just before launch. Wow. Just so that you won't have to use the facilities on the way up to docking with the space station. Lying on the cold tile floor in Russian quarantine as your bowels evacuate themselves, thinking the glorious life of an astronaut here.
Yeah. Well, I guess the other option is much worse. Houston, we have a floater.
Exactly right.
The other thing I read, but they're getting washed down with Russian men with alcohol. Is that right?
Well, one of the concerns is you don't want to bring a cold or a flu up to the space station. But another is, what if you've just got, say, some little bit of mold or something you brushed into on your skin? You don't want to bring any sort of skin infection up there. So after you finish with the enema, in comes a Russian technician, and he wipes your entire body down with rubbing alcohol.
Right.
And it's cold in Kazakhstan. So yeah, and this isn't a person you know well. So it's kind of...
At that moment, presumably 5 minutes later, you know each other very well.
Good mates. But yeah,
presumably in that moment, there must be a part of you thinking, I'd rather have been a teacher. I read something interesting about you, if this is right, that you once discovered something strange in space. The cake.
Yeah.
This is an amazing story. This really freaked me out.
I was the commander of the crew.
Yeah.
I was back digging through our pantry looking for something interesting to bring out for food. And I opened up the zipper and I'm digging away, and out next to me floats a fruitcake. And not even a professionally made fruitcake, but it looked like a fruitcake your aunt might have made and sent you. And I'm looking at this going, who ordered a fruitcake? Where did a fruitcake come from? And I was thinking, well, we'll give it a try. I put it down, unwrapped the cellophane, and I found it had a little card in it. Yeah. And it was made by Trappist monks in the Ozarks in the United States. I was thinking they had no idea where their fruitcake was going to end up. But the beauty of fruitcake, because it's preserved in a lot of rum and such, if you just Velcro it to the table, it doesn't dry out. So everybody floating by would just grab another little piece of fruitcake. It's wonderful space food. Who would have thought?
I love that. How... So many things happen for a monk to make a fruitcake. One of the monks manages to sneak it onto a spacecraft, and then this is the best thing, because they're monks, they don't talk, they can't brag about it.
Well, we thought we'd give them a phone call, because on the little calling card was their telephone number in the Ozarks. And we occasionally have a link from the space station where we can actually telephone down to the ground. So we thought, we'll call the monks and thank them for their...
That must have freaked them out.
So dialed it up, got through, and we discovered that monks don't answer their phone.
Oh, that's so beautiful. But they would never have believed you either. Just say, hello, we're eating your cake in space. Oh, yeah, it's them kids from down the road.
I left a message. Hi, this is Chris Hadfield. I'm the commander of the International Space Station. Just wanted to tell you, one of your fruitcakes is up here. It's really delicious. We really appreciate you making it for us. And everybody on the whole crew, even the Russians, they really like it. Thanks very much. Hope to meet you someday. Bye-bye.
Oh.
I was just picturing them around their answering machine. Like, really?
Put it on speaker. I made that cake. What's it like being home after you've been to space?
It's funny when you come home, of course, because you're so used to just placing things in the air and then grabbing them again when you need. And on my first landing, Jerry Ross and I were standing next to each other. We just landed on the runway, and he floated a tape to me out of his video camera, and it went onto the ground. And both of us, like some bad Godzilla movie, went, reached down and picked it up. We looked pathetic, and they laughed at each other.
So, what's your favourite moment from being on space? What's the go-to? That was it. That was the...
I've done 2 spacewalks.
Yeah.
They're a huge amount of preparation. They're a risky thing to do. During my second space flight, we had to go outside and build some things. And it's very theoretical and years, more than a university degree of training just for the spacewalk. Wow. You get up, it takes about 4 hours to put your spacesuit on, to go through all of it. You got to get the nitrogen out of your blood and all sorts of things. But finally, the moment comes when you're in the airlock, it's all hatched, you've depressurized it down to the vacuum, the suit is inflated and dead quiet, and you grab this huge handle and spin it, and you can't hear it, even though it's a big metal thing. You clunk it up out of place, and you pull yourself out into the universe. And suddenly, the whole world is... There's nothing between you and the world but the curve of your visor. And, and you look the other way, and it's the entire universe all around you. Wow. And you're just holding on with one hand. That moment is overwhelming.
Yeah, right. It sort of puts being a turtle into perspective.
Maybe a turtle that's just been chucked off Everest.
But they must have that similar thing of going... But yours is so much cooler.
Yeah, it's... and at one point, Houston said, hey, just hold on for a few minutes. We need to think about something. So I get a moment just to think about where I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I held on more and more gently till I was just holding on with my fingertips, and I got myself perfectly still, and then I just let go. Flying around the sun with the spaceship, the two of us, and the Earth, and just to sense what it really feels like, alone in the universe, our first steps away from home. Just a magnificent personal moment.
Yeah.
And so kind of an early glimpse of what that's going to feel like to have separated ourselves from the planet.
Oh, man. I could talk to you all night. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much, Chris.
Very much.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Chris Hadfield. Elsewhere in the news, did you hear about James Bond? James Bond gets politically correct makeover in new novel. Bond has become a modern man. Well, that is going to change the films.
He's back.
Ah, martini, Mr. Bond?
No, I'll have a smoothie.
With a whole new outlook.
Did you enjoy that? Loved it.
The name's Bond. James Bond. Licence to respect. God, I love recycling. I like it. Finally tonight, an inspirational man from New York trying to educate people about the real danger of guns.
I'm pro Second Amendment, you know, so it's like, it's kind of hard to find that around in New York City, you know? It's
like I was showing your wife, you know, the first gun I showed her was this revolver. It's the easiest gun we have to use. It's, you know, it's our most popular one. It's a 22 caliber 6-inch revolver. It's also a gun that a 5-year-old found in his parents' bedroom, went down and shot his 9-month-old baby brother with it. Collectors love this one. Adam Lanza's mom had this in her collection too, till he took this and several other guns and killed her. Then went down to Sandy Hook, killed 6 teachers and 20 innocent children. 20 little kids gone, like that. They thought, ironically, that they were protecting their 9-month-old. She thought she was protecting her 2-year-old. 9mm semi-automatic, 40 caliber compact, 45 caliber, 9mm submachine gun, 12 gauge pump action shotgun. Why don't you have a closer look?
I was pretty blindsided by just the entire history of every gun in the store.
It is one of our rights, but my opinion has definitely changed. I don't feel safe with the gun.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Thanks very much for watching the news. Good night, my friends. Good night. Farewell. Y'all see you.